It should come as no surprise that battery life is one of the key things we look for on a laptop. Some laptops may have a shorter battery life, but a good horsepower, others may have a good battery life, but poor overall performance. Here we look at some of the best laptops that house both good battery life and overall powerful hardwares in perfect combination. The Dell XPS 13 is among the best laptops lines out there. Perhaps in response to the high-end ultrabook scene changing considerably over the last few years and rivals rolling out tough competitions. The latest XPS 13 is not only keeping up with the best of them, it's also finding the delicate balance between adding necessary innovations and preserving everything people already love about the Dell XPS lineup. With its massively boosted battery life that could run up to 12 hours, Dell's XPS 13 has become a user-friendly laptop on the go within a budget. The Dell XPS 13 9380 features the latest Whiskey Lake 8th Gen Intel Core i7 quad-core processor. With a 13.3-inch Infinity Edge Full HD touchscreen display and an ultra-high-definition graphics, you will have a laptop that will perform faster. Its 8GB low-power DDR3 RAM and 256GB of NVMe SSD will let you have a device that will multitask while elongating your battery life. The lineup of ports also stays the same with this model. On the right, it houses an audio output, a micro SD card slot, a USB 3.1 Gen 2 Type-C port with power display, and headphone jack. On the left, you will find a wedge-shaped security cable slot, two Thunderbolt 3 USB Type-C port with power delivery. With a super thin and light build, coming in at 2.7 pound and impressive hardware that includes 52 watt-an-hour 4C battery, Dell XPS 13 is the best budget laptop with the longer battery life in this list. Apple's latest model has a 16-inch screen with slim bezels around it, delivering a more modern look next to laptops like the Dell XPS 13. The 3072 by 1920 resolution display is sharper than the 2560 by 1600 panel on the 15-inch MacBook Pro model, and it looks gorgeous. Its color looks accurate, contrast is excellent, and it can get very bright. With a very epic battery life that can run up to 11 hours on one charging and fitted with a very powerful hardware for a steep price, Apple's MacBook Pro is the best laptop with the longest battery life you could find that is still housing all you need in a light and compact design. With its top-notch 4K Retina display, powered by a 9th Gen Intel Core i7 processor and 16GB of RAM and 516GB of SSD, Apple's 16-inch device offers a lot more than a longer battery life. This MacBook holds 4 Thunderbolt 3 ports, so lack of ports making it difficult to plug in external peripherals into the MacBook Pro 16-inch, but the new speakers and mic, along with an improved keyboard and huge storage, means you're less likely to need to plug things in. It simply offers it all by its own. Providing an answer to Apple's auction, but with Windows-specific strengths like a touchscreen and detachable display, is really why the Surface Book 2 exists. The new 15-inch model goes one step further in matching and even beating Apple's latest MacBook Pro lineup on paper. It's a hefty and powerful laptop just like the original. It's also a tablet, thanks to that detachable display. Its high-end graphics card and support for Xbox controllers also make it a miniature Xbox One for gaming on the go. Microsoft has worked hard to make the battery life a standout feature of the Surface Book 2, and it has succeeded, with a stated battery life of up to 17 hours of video playback and the latest 8th Gen Intel quad-core i7 processor, a 16GB of RAM and a 512GB of SSD. The Surface Book 2 is the device you can surely rely on at any situation. The device contains two USB 3.0 Gen 1 ports, a USB-C port, a 3.5mm headphone jack, full-sized SD card slot, and two Surface Connect ports, one of which is always occupied by the keyboard base for communication between the two hardware portions, unless the tablet is detached from the base. The front-facing camera contains an infrared sensor that supports login using Windows Hello. And a final note, with a top-quality build, enlarged 15-inch touchscreen display and a longer battery life, Surface Book 2 is a simply awesome 2-in-1 hybrid laptop. The ThinkPad X1 Carbon is one of the most established laptops around, and its latest model marks the 7th iteration of the series. Just like every one before it, this X1 Carbon is thinner and lighter than ever. It also added new features in this latest model, including a brighter UHD display with HDR400 support, a better sound system, more far-field microphones, plus the usual processor and performance upgrades, and an optional carbon fiber weave pattern for those bored with a plain black lid. This 14-inch model features an 8th-gen Intel Core i7 processors, supported by a low-powered 16GB of DDR3 RAM and 512GB of SSD, all this power supported by 13-hour battery that could fill up to 75% in less than an hour. On the right side, it features a USB 3.1 Type-A port next to a Kensington lock. On the left you'll see two Thunderbolt 3 ports, a second USB 3.1 port, an HDMI input and a headphone and mic jack on the left side. There is also a proprietary docking port. With that being said, ThinkPad X1 Carbon is a strong business laptop that delivers an excellent keyboard and good performance in an elegant body, a handy webcam shutter, and a sharper, more colorful display, and an impressively long battery life than its predecessors. The LG Gram 15 is the latest entry in LG's line of ultralight laptops. It supports a full HD touchscreen, a speedy processor, and battery life that has to be experienced to be believed. All this comes in a surprisingly light package that's so durable it managed to stand up to military-grade testing. The LG Gram 15 packs an 8th-generation Intel Core i7 processor, powered by a 16GB of DDR4 RAM and 500GB of SSD, all this run by a 72-watt-hour battery that could last up to 16 hours, which is impressive, makes LG Gram 15 an excellent laptop that performs well while maintaining a longer battery life. Despite the light and slim form factor, it still manages to pack an almost complete set of ports and jacks. On the left side, you'll find a power jack, a USB 3.0 port, an HDMI port, and a USB-C port. The right side features a micro SD card reader, audio jack, and two more USB 3.0 ports. The body is simply too thin for an Ethernet jack, but you'll find a USB-C to Ethernet adapter packed in the box. Bottom line, the LG Gram 15 is an astoundingly light laptop that packs a surprisingly large screen, incredibly long battery life, and an elegant, minimalist design.